I'm Mike Walker.
I'm David Patrick.
We are Dads on Books.
Dads on Books, 2 minutes later. But we are dads on books. We're addicted to books, we sit on books, and we even talk about books.
Welcome to another episode of Dads on Books.
Thanks for coming back for part 2 of our interview with Dan Yaccarino. Let's join in where we left off.
Different octopus.
Lots of Jacques Cousteau and Under the Sea.
Blue, the one with the book is green.
Different
octopus. The octopus doesn't appear in the show. And yes, we had an amazing art director for Willa's Wildlife. He was totally into it. He got really deeply into that stuff. So I'd go to the studio in Toronto and we'd totally geek out about, furniture and wallpaper patterns. And you can, it comes across. Loved what we did there. That show was so stylish and sharp. I love that look of that show. I'm very proud of it, but it's really mostly the production designer who did that.
Okay.
But, it was fun. It was really good.
And it is
really
a fun show. I've actually, I've only watched 3 episodes so far. When I went into it, I was like, I just need to watch one to see what it's about. And now I've done 3, and I will probably watch the rest so that I can continue furnishing my house with like-minded things.
I love
There's
it.
all kinds of little sly references in there of things that I'm interested in. The seals are named Steve and Edie. And if you didn't pay, this old person reference, Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet.
I got that.
But they were to me, the ultimate showbiz couple.
Love it.
And I thought, well, these seals were kind of, in show business before they retired. And there's tons of stuff like that.
That is so fun.
All the shows.
The 3 penguins. I don't know if it's the 3 Stooges, but they kind of are. And I love that they call her Gladys.
Awesome.
Cracks me up every time I hear it.
Gladys? Well, a lot of it was to make each other laugh.
Yes.
And would turn over scripts and somebody, I'd get revisions and it was just trying to crack each other up.
Did you like Looney Tunes and all of Chuck Jones's work?
Oh my God. Yes. I grew up with all of that.
I did too. And the reason why I bring that up is I have read 3 different biographies about him and his autobiography. And one time I was in a bookstore in Chicago in the 90s and I read in the newspaper, talk about 20th century relics, bookstore. No, I'm kidding. Newspaper. But it was a review of a book about him and it was written by Hugh Kenner. So I went to the bookstore and said, I'm looking for a book about Chuck Jones. And the book guy said, who's Chuck Jones? And I said, wow, this is a bookstore. And I said, I don't know. He's the cartoon guy, Bugs Bunny. But it's written by a guy named Hugh Kenner. He goes, oh, the T.S. Eliot critic? And I thought, I don't know. It's cartoons, Bunny. So he was making fun of me because I didn't know about Hugh. But sure enough, it was a book written about Chuck Jones by a very famous T.S. Eliot critic. But what really stood out is a couple things that you said. He said that, when they were making the Looney Tunes, those were shorts that were put in front of movies, all movies. So they didn't have a demographic. They didn't know what the word, that word didn't exist yet. They were trying to crack each other up. That was what they did. And that's why those cartoons are so funny, because they were just like, we're just going to make each other laugh. But Chuck also said that what's really important in the end is the love you have for what you do and the work you're willing to put into it. And Jones said, in the end, only the love should show, not the work. And that reminds me of you, because it's clear you work really hard on your illustrations, that nothing's an accident. It's clear that you love it. But when I see this, all I see is the love. It's just, and every Friday, I have your book every Friday.
I cried.
Yeah.
Not me.
It's great. It's great.
I lived that. That was fun. We would go to a diner every Friday for breakfast in the West Village. We lived, but also it's sort of an odd, because that definitely is that perspective, me as the dad. But
yes,
when I was growing up, I would kind of do that every once in a while. Just me, my father and just the 2 of us would go, and I would go run errands with him. He's like, "Want to go get lunch?" Yes. Go to the diner. Yes. So it's kind of like I was the kid, the child and the adult at the same time, having had that experience on both ends of it. And I feel very strongly about that book. That book I constantly get emails about that book, and it makes me so happy that people adopt that little ritual. It may not be for breakfast at the diner. It could be the donuts on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's anything. Carve out just a little bit of time with each other and make that.
Yeah, my wife, we have the 3 daughters, and one of the things that we do is we make sure there's this whole thing about treat everyone equally stuff. It's like, no, take them out individually by themselves. And
Yes.
this book inspired me to do that more often. So you literally touched my life because of this book. Plus, my dad did live in New York City for a while. And I did
cool.
I was already an adult. I was already in college. Thankfully, I was in college in Massachusetts. My 2 best friends went to Princeton and West Point. That was a really fun year. But these New York diners, and also what I love that you do, you have some artwork in this book that is reminiscent. I first saw this idea in the Pinkalicious books. Are you familiar with those?
Yep.
And it's where you have the plaid that the dad is wearing is a straight pattern that is all over his entire body, regardless of what his arms and legs are doing. And you do that a lot in this book. And it's just another little detail, the wallpaper and the back of the diner. You also have a thing where whether we're inside or outside the diner, if we're outside, that's all color. Inside's black and white. When they go in the diner, it flips. Everything in the diner is in color. Outside's black and white. And it's something that kids might not notice, but I love little techniques like that, little tropes or whatever you want to call it. It's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And really, the art is really amazing. So,
are you wiping away a tear?
No.
Okay.
I'm not crying.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Oh.
No.
Warning, bring a handkerchief to our episode.
Yeah, well, that
I got
happens
a lot
a
of
lot.
that. I got a lot of,
Yeah.
especially with, we didn't get there yet, but a lot of, with Oswald. There's a lot of, like a lot of warm feelings and sentimentality and just, this kind of affection for him. And a lot of my books inspire.
That's great.
It's great.
It's great.
And we're very susceptible. We're like the AT&T commercials of the 80s.
Yep.
They just make everyone cry.
Reach out and touch someone.
So, okay.
I love it.
I promised myself I wouldn't pretend to cry.
So, I wasn't looking.
I noticed it took both of you guys a beat to get that, but it's okay.
What happened?
I'll have to look at it in post, but I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Well,
we'll laugh about it later.
And then we'll cut this part out, right, David? Just like we always do.
Pretty much,
Yeah. Whenever I miss something or do something stupid.
Stupid.
Never cut
And
it
I know
out.
that means Mike is not cutting out me being an idiot because that sells. I don't know.
That's entertainment.
Hell yeah. I mean, heck yeah.
Hey, Dan, I do have a question for you. I have a question for you about your career / process. Because I know that you were an art director on TV shows. Did you start with books or did you start with television? And whichever one you started with, how did you transition from one to the other? I know you do both, but tell me a little bit about that.
Well, on graduating from Parsons School of Design, I was an illustrator.
Okay.
So at that time, tons of magazines. There was work I was able to get in the beginning and support myself right out of college. And so I would create images for a lot of different magazines, Rolling Stone and New York Magazine, just all magazines were on Business Week and different magazines like that. So I sort of learned how to quickly and sort of just break down an article and figure out what the essence is. It was great training. And from there, a dear friend of mine who had started doing picture books before me recommended that I think about it. And I happened to have met an editor at Hyperion, which is part of Disney. And they offered me a book, having no proof of concept or anything.
Wow.
And it was crazy. But you could, I think at that, I don't know what the climate is like now to break into the business, but a lot of people hate me for this story, the first book, and Oswald, because many of the stories I got rejected 1,000 times.
Yes.
Struggled.
Yep.
I think because I was already a professional illustrator, I didn't know how the book business worked, but I knew how to deliver work on time, make it consistent and all of that, and have it address
the essence of the story was key.
Exactly. That's really my
mentioned
job
that.
as a commercial illustrator was what is the essence? Distill it down, figure out what
To one
symbols to
frame.
use. Yeah. So I showed my portfolio, which was full of sort of editorial work. I had worked with design firms that did posters. I've done ad campaigns, all these different things. And my work is very colorful to begin with, although there was nothing addressing anything having to do with children's books. I was very graciously offered contract, and then I learned how to write a book through that one book. And I mean, I'd love to see the contract again, see how much, what the advance was, but I'm sure it wasn't much. But as soon as I did that book, I realized I really like doing this. It is a universe I can create. There are characters. I love creating. I grew up drawing comic books. I even wrote scripts and recorded them on a tape recorder.
Wow.
I made Super 8 movies. I blew up stuff in the backyard. That really doesn't have anything to do with anything. But,
Still awesome.
it was sort of a hearkening back to what I grew up doing, which was writing stories and creating characters and worlds and different things like that. So once I had that satisfaction and you have something tangible in your hands, unlike doing work for a magazine or a newspaper, it's gone the next day or the next week. This, the book is more substantial and material, and it will last longer, and it will
hopefully generations.
Exactly.
Like you said earlier.
The other work is disposable, essentially.
Right.
It was
literally
for the read of the article, and then you move on. But that also taught me the sort of impermanence of everything, too, is to let go of it. This is only going to be valid within the time frame that this person is looking at this magazine, reading the article, sort of very quickly considering the image and moving on.
Yeah.
And I find that wouldn't call it apathetic, but I understand that work is, wouldn't say disposable, but you have to get a tough skin, especially when you're doing, editorial, which you get all your ideas shot down to start over again. When I worked with ad agencies, that was kind of brutal. Everything was due yesterday, and the client, every sentence began with the words of the client.
Oh,
and it was constantly changing things and revising and all that. So I kind of developed a bit of a tough skin for a few years doing editorial. Then I moved on to books, but I did not give up editorial yet. But when I was faced with Oswald to produce the show, I had to give up something. Fortunately, I gave up editorial work because maybe 2-3 years later, a lot of the magazines were gone.
Yeah.
And there's even less magazines now. So I'm sort of one foot in each world, the animation world and book world. And I find that there are ideas that I have that are appropriate for books that are not appropriate for animation and vice versa. So I managed to create, sort of options for myself to be able to put energy into different things and different mediums. And they're both satisfying, but they're very, very different. A book is more of an iteration of a pure thought, because the only other people involved is primarily the editor, and then there's the designer, and that's really it. So you really get more of a pure idea out through a book, but with a show, it's more of a group project.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to, in order to have people passionate about their work, you need to allow them a voice in these productions. So my biggest job when I'm staffing up, putting a crew together for a show, is not to micromanage anyone. My biggest job is choose the right people and let them
do their work.
Yeah.
Well, hey, something you said earlier about when you discovered what it was like to write a children's book, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes that you had in the Jacques Cousteau book. Sometimes we are lucky enough to know that our lives have been changed. It happened to me that summer's day when my eyes opened to the world beneath the surface of the sea. It sounds like you had an epiphanal moment just like that.
Yeah, I would say
so cool.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, that's why I opened with that. And I am truly grateful to
Mhm.
be able to maintain this and to contribute. And the letters I've gotten, and, that book every Friday, had a very special meaning to a young reader who went through a hard time, and their
Mhm.
family contacted me. And when you hear stories like, these
Yeah.
kind of really heavy, emotional stories, you realize, wow, this work goes out there and affects other people.
Hugely.
And
Yeah.
they interpret it in their own way. On a lighter note, I was doing a book signing somewhere, and a couple came up, in their 20s. They said, "Look, we love your show. We're grown-ups, but we watch it. And when we're sad, we sing the Umbrella song from one of the episodes of."
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
love that.
and I was floored, at the reaction. We went out to Tokyo to promote the show when they started airing it over there, and they treat you like a celebrity. They
'Cause you
treated me
are.
like, it was amazing because they have such reverence for creative
I was going to
people.
say, you are a celebrity.
Right?
But I spoke to the broadcaster, and and this is at the time when they were still broadcasting, no streaming yet. And they said, well, we air it 2 times a day. We air it at 8 a.m., reasonable, and 11 p.m. I said, why would you air a preschool show that late? I said, are children up? Oh, well. And I was told that, oh, no, adults watch your show. It mellows them out, and then they go to bed.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Is that kind of sort of maybe a backhanded compliment? You just mellow everybody
the
out.
show.
No, I know.
Yeah,
It's just like,
look,
you
you're
put
a sedative,
people to
Dan.
sleep.
You're a sedative.
I think I am one of the show creators that were thanked the most for moms and dads to be able to either take a nap or shower while the show was.
Oh, yeah.
But they got and that was it was deliberate to make that show very slow paced and very, one step at a time, and limit the dialogue, let the images do most of the work. And of course, I had a blast casting it. If you looked at the cast list of the actors on that show, it was so much fun. We were and you hear this, we were like a family. We really were like a family.
That's cool.
It was
and also, so much of children's animation is so fast and bells and whistles and stuff, and to have it be slow,
right,
is just awesome. And against what so many productions do.
And kind of it's against the whole our whole society right now with YouTube and the shorts and the reels and everything's so fast. It's all coming at you so fast. Like we have to learn to take that time and slow down. And one of the books, City Under the City, there were these moments when Bix goes underground and is taking all of this time reading and exploring.
Yeah.
It just, that hit me like, oh, yeah, we should take some time and not be so on our devices all the time, our giant eyes. But one of the things I wanted to say about that and another one of the books totally reminded me of the Jetsons.
I love it.
And not that it was even like the illustrations weren't that close, but it was just enough of that mid-century modern googie feel that I was like, look, I loved it. And I loved the Jetsons. Who didn't?
Well, I figured when I was a kid, we'd have flying cars and, everybody wearing the same silver spacesuit and all that. I felt like I got gypped out of that. So I put it in a book. Googie architecture that was the inspiration for the production design for the Jetsons. But I just, you can tell I really, and even I know that my technique is very simple and clean and, somewhat, there are aspects that are geometric and, some hard line and some sort of amorphous shapes and things like that. But I find that distills on one hand, you're right, a lot of the images are very detailed. But then there's this other aspect of the pure simplicity of these things, which I tend to go into that mode when it's for younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
Very, 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 simple and pared down.
But I think, simplicity is a wonderful thing. Mike and I are both actors, and I actually met him because I was doing improv with his wife at the Second City in Chicago.
Cool.
And I teach improv now, and less is more, is one of the most important rules of improv and editing. I just listened to a public speaking coach today talking about get rid of adverbs and just cut stuff down and just get to the basic. And your art, such simple art can still, when it's done well, can portray a complex world, can portray emotions. You can see the whole picture. Real quickly, I did check out, literally, one of your books about the Luna sisters.
Oh, yeah? Yes,
and it was awesome. It was so fun. Lots of colors, lots of great art. Looks like there's a lot going on, but still all simple shapes and clean lines.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite parts, okay, spoiler alert. Anybody out there who's going to read the Luna sisters battle for the moon blossom, I'm going to read the very last line of the book. So go fold your socks or something. But it actually isn't very plot related. But the girls are walking off. Our point of view is from behind them. They're getting along, and one says, "You're a pest." "No, you're a pest." And I just read that and thought, man, I know that Dan has kids because that is an extremely realistic, universal. If you are a parent, or if you've ever had a parent, or if you've ever been a kid, you can relate to that little thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's
that was
simple.
The best part of that is they bicker and they don't get along until they have to get along. There's 2 books with Luna sisters. Actually, the second book. And that may become animated.
Oh, I hope
cool.
so.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, and my daughter's
well,
one
if
day
there's anything we can do,
we'll, as a teenager,
we'll put it out to our
and I'm looking
tens of
forward
people that listen to the show.
Tens of people. Wow. How do you handle that bandwidth, man?
Hey, we've been podcasting, Dan, since 2025.
Yeah.
So we're kind of a big deal. No, we're one of the, on a serious note, one of the things that we just love reading, and we love books. And despite the emergence of the 21st century, if you were to do another version of I Am a Story that showed more decades and centuries and millennia, I'm thinking books are still there. There's still something about books. Our girls love them. I had a conversation with a mechanic at the place where I got my oil change, and he said, I've looked at Kindles, but I just really love the tactile sensory experience you get from reading a book. Not to be classist, but I wouldn't necessarily attribute that quote to a mechanic, but it was telling. He loves books. His kids love books, and he loves having his kids read books. So anyway, that's what helps Mike and me do what we do, is we love books and our experiences with them. So, and we love your books, by the way.
And it's so really cool to, it was funny you were saying at the very beginning how we all get like that, oh, you're a kid reading a book versus when you're an adult reading a book. And that's part of why we put this show together, because we're so interested in, I remember reading that book, but it's been 10 years, 15 years. It was 45 years since I was a kid. Whatever. It's still, it's just, it gives you that, I'm in a different place in my life, and there's something cool that I can see that's different than what I saw when I was a little kid. So it's really awesome. It's amazing when
that's a good book
can do that. Yeah.
Whatever book you described you're referring to, that is a good book. That is what I would strive for as a creator, is to have it grow with you.
Yeah. And I think your books do. That's what's interesting.
Thank you.
Well, I'm looking forward to visiting Italy one day with my girls and taking Piccolo and the sequel. We don't need a dictionary or phrase book. We'll just take those 2 books.
Let's just use the book.
Yeah.
Everything you need
I'm
to
sure
know.
We can get by. I'm sure we can get by.
Yeah. Well, if you know how to ask for gelato, you're halfway there, man. You're all you're
but how do you ask,
and one of the funny things,
where is the gelato store?
Gelato.
Gelato.
Oh,
Do
and
you
what's
use your
funny?
hands a lot?
What's funny?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Part of the deal.
No, I was going to say one of the things I loved about Piccolo is when I first went to Italy on that trip to Florence, one of the Hungarian monks that was my homeroom teacher when I was here, he said, "I will tell you the most important words you need to know: cioccolata e caffè due mille," which was telling them the flavors that I wanted and the size, the 1,200 lira size. So he was this font of wisdom, and the most important thing I could say was knowing how to order the gelato I wanted. If I'd had this book,
You wouldn't have needed a monk.
Yeah. As
Well-
long as you like hazelnut, you're okay, because that's his flavor.
Love hazelnut.
yeah, exactly. It's because
Yeah. As long as there's chocolate with it. But preference.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I think we would love to keep talking with you, but we want to respect your time. And we've been talking
Thank
for over an hour. So we really appreciate you coming on. And it was really terrific meeting you. I have so many more questions. I'll send them, via carrier pigeon or something.
Answer.
There's carrier pigeons in something that I read recently. But this has just been really, really fun. And thank you so much.
Same here.
good. Yeah, thank you for your time, Dan, and thank you for your wonderful books. And
Thank you
we'll
so
keep an
much
eye out.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you
We do that all the
No,
time.
I wanted to say I appreciate what you guys do and highlighting these things and taking the time to research them and focus on them and sort of in some ways, reveal aspects that aren't readily seen, sort of demystifying books a little bit, but also it seems like you guys are just enamored with them, which is wonderful because that's an important element. The sort of the scholarly aspect of doing it is one thing,
Right.
but then there's always, and if a good book, it will bring in emotions or maybe even larger issues or subjects, spirituality or anything. But it's such a unique medium.
The Longest Storm.
I always say that, yeah, exactly. That has a lot of stuff going on.
So many.
It.
Oh my God.
And
we didn't even get to talk about it. Next time.
The Longest Storm. Was it based on inspired by COVID? I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I just have that question.
No. I came up with the idea. It got applied to being about COVID, about the family stuck in the house.
But
really, it was meant to transcend that. It's any family conflict. You see this family that's not this at all, this picture perfect idea, idealized image of a family. It's like a lot of static, a lot of annoying each other, and then the father explodes. And I wanted to put that in a book because that to me is real and it's okay. And
absolutely.
what a unique medium and audience. I always say we get them first. We get human beings first. And so it's an awesome responsibility with what you do with that position that you're in. It has to be the best it could be. As an adult, we can forgive or gloss over, poorly written, novels for adults or kind of, shabbily put together movies or whatever. That's okay. It's not going to affect you really.
Right.
You're going to walk away from it. If I asked either one of you, what book did you read 17 years ago? You would be able to remember. What book did you read or that was read to you when you were 4 or 5? You would remember.
Yeah.
And that's the responsibility part that I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
It stays with you. You have to curate that library so carefully because those messages, get seeped into the brain. And hopefully, if they're well written, but also they have a good message that they can affect the reader in a positive way. I would say 4 to 5 times a week, I get messages from people who are in their early 20s, early to mid 20s, who grew up with Oswald, and they're thanking me. And this is not to toot my own horn, but this was a wonderful example of empathy. This was a great way to display kindness. And that's the theme for all of my books. Piccolo and Oswald, all those books. The goal, the aim, the underlying current is always empathy and kindness. And that's my message. And I will not stop delivering that message in every single thing that I do, because I think we need it.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to put Oswald back into production, but we can get a petition going or something. Fellas.
Hey,
that would be
all right.
great.
Put it in the. We'll
start.
put something down in our notes, and we'll start a petition. Bring back Oswald.
Thank you.
Wherever they are, up there,
Yay!
down there.
Yay!
If I had 8 arms, I could be everywhere.
All right.
Anyway,
That's
I
right.
love it. Again, Dan, thank you for your time. We had a lot of fun. It was really great talking with you. We hope to do it again.
Yeah.
Yep. Same here. Thank
Cool.
you, guys. And again, thank you for what you do. It's very much appreciated.
Yay.